How is that a free kick?
Well, am I not surprised that you're unhappy with officials?
This incident here has baffled the entire football world.
Being an ex-goalkeeper, well, that's nonsense.
Liverpool all but destroyed Man City's title hopes at Anfield as Arne Slot's Reds extended Pep Guardiola's miserable winless run, while Arsenal seem to have rediscovered their mojo as they put 5 past hopeless West Ham by half-time at the London Stadium. But were the Gunners helped out by officials yet again? Well, back to answer that question, as he is after every Premier League game week on the Whistleblower, is former Prem ref and SunSport columnist Mark Halsey. And as well as the weirdness at West Ham, we're going to dissect controversial decisions during Brighton v Southampton, Spurs v Fulham, Liverpool v City, Chelsea v Villa, Forest v Ipswich and Wolves versus Bournemouth. Mark, I hope you're ready for all that. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, thanks, pal. Why am I not surprised that you're unhappy with officials at West Ham on Saturday?
I'm not really ready to talk about it, Mark. But you're right, there is only one place to start after an excellent weekend or an interesting weekend of Premier League football. I was there at London Stadium, watched Anthony Taylor, the referee, VAR, Michael Salisbury in this one. Now, there was so much weirdness on display, but I think we'll start with the weirdest one, right? Arsenal were awarded 2 penalties in that first half. There were 7 goals by half-time in the game. But Arsenal scored a penalty from this one to make it 5-2. It was 4-2 at the time, right at the end of the first half. Now, Bukayo Saka swings a corner in. Lucas Fabianski, the West Ham goalkeeper, attempts to punch the ball at the same time as Gabriel goes up for a header. Gabriel just gets to the ball first. The ball goes miles over the goal. Gabriel, of course, goes down holding his face after Lucas Fabianski's fist just grazed his face or grazed his head. Now, Anthony Taylor took about 5 seconds to even award Arsenal a penalty in the first place, which he did. But then a lengthy VAR review then confirmed the decision and obviously the penalty gets scored. The Premier League said that the ref's call of a penalty for a reckless challenge by Fabianski on Gabriel was checked and confirmed. Now, just give me your thoughts first and then we'll go into the weeds in a minute.
Yeah, listen, look, I think when the cross come over and the ball comes over like that, you're gonna have contact between players every occasion. You're gonna have contact, and it's subjective. We have seen penalties given
Mark,
in
what have I said to you about subjective?
No, but we have seen penalties given in those sort of situations where a keeper has come out and he has caught the goalkeeper, but there's been a lot more contact than that we saw at the weekend. You
talked to me about normal contact a lot on Whistleblower, right? Do you think that is normal contact?
Listen, Anthony Taylor's given it. He's taken some time to think about it, and he's given it. And VAR are not going to overrule that because obviously we've heard Howard Webb say that we want to stick with the on-field decision. So on those situations, on a subjective decision. So listen, yeah, you could. I mean, had he not given that as a penalty, that would have stayed not given.
Yeah, I'm just really, really surprised. Lots of West Ham fans, understandably, myself included, sort of, really just despondent about the whole thing. It's such a key part of the game. West Ham had scored 2. There was finally a bit of momentum in the stadium, and then the wind taken out of the sails there.
It does seem that he did take 4 or 5 seconds to give the decision. Whether he was influenced by Gabriel on the floor, holding his head, his face, and players sort of surrounding him. So, as I said, had it not been given, it would have stayed not given. It would have stayed with the on-field decision.
It certainly felt that way, Mark. And what's infuriating as well, in the stadium, and we've covered this before, but no one had a clue what was going on. I was down the other end of the ground. Play stops. Arsenal players weren't really claiming for anything. It all went quiet in the ground, and then all of a sudden, there's a penalty check for God knows what, and then Arsenal scored another goal. Infuriating. Right, Mark, we've got to move on here. There was plenty to cover in this game. Now, this was earlier in the game, and arguably more of a vital decision, right? So this is for Arsenal's first goal. Bukayo Saka swings a corner in, an excellent corner, as he always does, but Timber runs across the goal to shove Lucas Paqueta in the back. He's marking the near post, Paqueta. You see it from the first picture here. There's the contact. Timber leaning right in to the back of him. Just seconds later, we see the ball fly over Paqueta's head, and it's obviously headed in by Gabriel. Now, the second image we can show here, look, you can see Timber is leaning right in to Lucas Paqueta, whose back is arched because of the contact. You can see where the ball goes. It goes just over his head. And I can tell you, when you watch it back, if Paqueta isn't shoved in the back, he can reposition himself. He heads that ball away. Timber has said afterwards, he said he felt like he got an assist and he didn't want to talk to the interviewers about Arsenal's dark arts. You got West Ham fans understandably fuming about it. Danny Murphy on Match of the Day as well doesn't understand how West Ham didn't give it. Many people saying, in what world is it not a foul? How does VAR not pick that up?
Well, again, we're talking about inconsistency, aren't we, regarding decisions when a goal is scored? Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? So yeah, listen, for me, I think it's a clear free kick, and I'm surprised that VAR didn't recommend a review.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Mark, isn't it? Arsenal are so good at set pieces. That's sort of clearly like part of their ploy, and VAR, like you say, is there to pick up clear and obvious errors. Right, we'll move on, Mark. Arsenal's first penalty here. Lucas Paqueta on Bukayo Saka this time. We'll keep this one quite brief. Saka drives into the box. Lucas Paqueta leaves a trailing leg out, and there is ever so slight contact, which Saka feels here, as you can see. And then it's one of those classic ones, Mark. The contact happens here, albeit minor, but there is contact. No one's arguing about that. And then, but it's about the 1.5 2-second delay before Saka falls over. The penalty gets awarded by Anthony Taylor immediately. VAR confirms the check. What do you make of it?
Yeah, listen, when he sticks his leg out like that, you run the risk. And I just want to see players, when they are challenged like that, just go down straight away. You don't need to take 1 or 2 more steps, then go down. Listen, had that not been given, it would have stayed possibly not given, because, as I say, there was just slight contact. But once the referee has given it, VAR are never going to overrule or overturn that decision. Right,
last one in this game then, Mark, just so it's not too one-sided and I don't get accused of being one-eyed here. Arsenal fans are also up in arms as well about this incident. 4-1 it was at the time to Arsenal. It was a loose ball on the edge of the Arsenal box. Declan Rice slides in on Lucas Paqueta. As you can see here, makes perfectly clean contact with the ball. Absolutely no follow-through. Lucas Paqueta made a massive meal of it. You can see Anthony Taylor at the edge of the frame there. He awards the free kick and Emerson scores. Obviously, it didn't affect the result of the game instead, but the tackle was perfectly fair. Taylor's looking at it from there. How is that a free kick?
Listen, I think he's just guessed, doesn't he, the way he's gone in, and Paqueta's gone over, and he's been safe and given a free kick. But we can all see that it's not a free kick, and he has clearly won the ball. But in real time, it possibly looked like it's a free kick.
One of those games, Mark, where the Arsenal conspiracy theorists went a little bit quiet after this one. So I think when you look back at those decisions, you do feel few of them might have gone in their favour, but there will be those who tell you that a couple have gone against Arsenal this season. Right, we'll move on, Mark. Brighton 1, Southampton 1 in the next game. A heated match, this one. Russell Martin and Hertzler, both managers booked and had a bit of a scrap at the end, a bit old school. But this incident here has baffled the entire football world, I think it's fair to say. So Cam Archer scores a would-be winner for Southampton. What a vital goal that would have been. With the scores at 1-0 on 67 minutes. You can see it here. Ref Rob Jones, VAR Jared Gillett in this one. Now, Ryan Fraser crosses the ball from the left-hand side. The ball goes behind Adam Armstrong, as you can see, who is offside. His leg was trailing ever so slightly, arguably in a normal running position. And then it comes to Archer, who smashes it in at the back post. What did you make of it, first of all?
Yeah, listen, I was surprised. I thought, to be honest, it was the correct decision. But I was just so surprised it took so long. Now, being in an offside position is not an offence in itself, okay? But once that ball's played through and Armstrong's made that run, he makes a play, he makes a movement to play the ball, albeit sticking his leg up from behind, like a back heel. So when the ball was played forward, he is in an offside position. So he's made that movement to gain an advantage. And at the same time, he's made a movement to play the ball. So for me, that was the correct decision. offside was the correct decision. I was just so surprised it took so long, because it took me 20 seconds to work that out. So, 4.5 minutes, far, far too long.
So the claim is, Mark, that it was his positioning there impacted the goalkeeper's ability to sort of play the ball or see the ball. How is that not a normal sort of action, what he's done there? Because it's totally subjective, as you would say, whether he's sort of his trailing leg he's done anything on purpose. Yeah. But how can you? I don't understand how that could be given as offside.
No, I disagree with him. Impacts on the goalkeeper, because he's too far out. That's not for me. Where it is offside is that he makes a clear movement to play the ball, being in an offside position. There's a ball that's played across. So that's the law. That's the law. Law 11 offside. Well, we can't get away from that. It may seem harsh, but he's made a deliberate play to play the ball. Offside is factual, Will. It's factual. Factual.
No, I know he was offside. I'm just not necessarily sure that his actions could deem playing.
No, I agree. Well, his actions doesn't impact on the keeper, in my opinion. But what he does do is he makes a clear movement to play the ball. But Mark, so that's for me. That's what makes it an offside.
But that's what you're saying. You'll describe the law there. But the Premier League, their match centre tweet said that Armstrong was in an offside position and was deemed to be impacting Brighton goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen and his ability to play the ball. But you're saying that's not true.
Being an ex-goalkeeper, well, that's nonsense for me. He's not impacting on the goalkeeper. What he does is he's made a movement to play the ball while being in an offside position.
Exactly. Absolute chaos, mate. Absolute chaos. Russell Martin, not happy either. Injured goalkeeper, Southampton goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale tweeted, "You can't be serious." And Russell Martin was absolutely fuming afterwards as well. He's a bit annoyed about the fact how much weight the on-field decisions have. Look, Mark, we'll move on and wrap up on the Whistleblower as we do every week with the quick fire round. We'll start with this one. Tottenham 1, Fulham 1. Tom Cairney sent off for this challenge on Dejan Kulusevski. You could see his studs making contact with the calf there. Was VAR correct to recommend a review after Darren Bond initially only gave Cairney a yellow card for this challenge?
Yeah, listen, I thought it was the challenge endangered the player's safety. Again, we're looking at inconsistency, because only a couple of weeks ago we had the same thing at Leicester, Chelsea with Ndidi on Palmer. What's the difference? VAR get involved here correctly, but don't get involved at Leicester and Chelsea.
Quite good use of VAR, Mark. Should Sasa Lukic have been given a second yellow card for this late slide challenge on Heung-min Son? Didn't connect with the ball when he was already on a yellow.
Yes, you could argue he was very lucky. Obviously, VAR cannot get involved in reckless challenges and second yellow cards. So, yes, he can count himself lucky that he didn't receive a second yellow on that situation. Right,
the game of the weekend, Mark. Liverpool against Manchester City. 2-0 to the Reds at Anfield. Was it the correct decision to award Liverpool a penalty after Luis Diaz's foot grazed the body of diving City goalkeeper Stefan Ortega? Look, you can see about 4 millimetres of his boot making contact with the body there.
Listen, when a goalkeeper comes out in that manner and he makes contact with the forward, it's an out-on penalty for me. The goalkeeper comes out like that, he's got to play, he's got to win the ball. And Manchester City can have no complaints. And I mean, I just cannot see anybody beating Liverpool at the moment.
Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0, Mark. Should Chelsea's first goal have been chalked off after this clash between Mark Cucurella and Jadon Philogene in the build-up?
Oh, I thought it was the correct decision, Will. I thought both players were going for a 50-50 ball. There's always going to be contact. For me, that's normal contact, and I didn't see that as a foul. I thought the referee got that spot on.
Fair enough. Nottingham Forest 1, Ipswich 0, Mark. Was it the correct decision to award Forest a penalty for Sammy Smodic's challenge on Jota here?
Yeah, we discussed it earlier. I thought it was a clear penalty. When Sammy Smodic puts a leg out like that, as we said, you run the risk. And obviously, he's done that. The player's gone over. Referee's given a penalty. There's no arguments there for me.
Fair enough. Wolves 2, Bournemouth 4. A brilliant game, this one. Mark, Wolves seem to be involved on the Whistleblower every single week. 3 penalties, all scored by Justin Kluivert for the first time in Premier League history. We'll start with this one. Was there enough contact from Totti Gomez on Evan Nielsen to justify this penalty being awarded by Peter Banks?
but you can clearly see the knee on knee, and I don't think that you can have any complaints. I think that's a clear penalty.
Nice one. The second one then, Mark, we could see it here. Was it correct to award Wolves their Bournemouth even their second penalty after Jose Sarr kicked Evan Nilsson's heel?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Sarr's error, taking too long to clear the ball, and the player, the Bournemouth ball, gets in front, and Sarr just kicks his feet away. So for me, an absolutely nailed-on penalty.
This one feels almost not worth asking, Mark, but was there any reason at all why this penalty should not have been awarded for Jose Sarr absolutely clattering Evan Nilsson?
Again, Will, absolutely nailed-on penalty. I think, of all the penalties we've seen so far this season, those 3 penalties are absolutely so easy to give. They're just absolutely nailed on. And it's interesting that obviously the Wolves manager, he had no complaints whatsoever, did he, about the award of the 3 penalties? So that goes to show how clear they were.
Brilliant as ever, Mark. Thanks very much. And thank you for watching. Make sure you're back later on this week for another episode of The Whistleblower after the next round of Premier League games.